flawless victory.
Hey guys, I'm Mono. Update 11 is out for Hella Loose, and let me tell you, it is absolutely incredible. There are multiple factors why I think this update is so good, even though it's not this huge, massive update like Update 11 was, which brought us a new army and 3 new maps and a bunch of other things. This is a much smaller update, but one that touches on several different things that just make the entire game better overall. So first of all, let's talk about the sound effects, because they've changed the sounds for a lot of the weapons, and there's new sounds for new weapons like the FG42 that sounds absolutely insane. Just take a listen. Everything they've changed sounds way harder, more impactful than it did before. And now when there's gunfights going on around you, it really does feel like all hell has been set loose. Because the level of intensity is unlike pretty much anything I've ever seen. I would compare this to Hella Loose before this update, and this is just on a whole new different level. It's so good. The weapons that have been changed are the MP40, the MG42, the STG, the M1 Garand, which sounds a lot better, and the reload sounds have also changed, and they do sound better as well. The BAR and the Springfield, which would be the US Sniper. They all sound better. In like the MP40 specifically, I think it's a way better sounding gun than we used to have. There's less of this clacking sound and more of a punchier, throatier, bullet actually being fired kind of sound. So overall, sound and immersion are better than they've ever been, and if you've ever played Hella Loose, you know that is a huge statement, because sorry, it's always been good. Well, now it's even better than it's better than ever before. But enough about that, let's talk about the other features that are in Update 11, starting with the FG42 and the trench gun. Now, I've tested both of these weapons, not a huge amount of time, because I just, I regularly squad lead, because the people that play with me, Fachi, Luger, Buko, Tic Tac, they don't want to squad lead. Leave them a comment down below. Tell them to squad lead if you want to see more videos of different weapons that are not the ones in the squad leading kit, because I can never get footage. So yeah, my crew sucks. Anyway, I've used the trench gun. It is just absolutely brutal at medium to close range, because you dismember people, and this, I'm gonna call it, is a stealth nerf of the medic, because now that you can actually dismember people with the shotgun, that means they can't be revived, obviously, by the medic. So technically, they just nerfed the medics. Trench gun is a huge amount of fun. At medium range or longer, you are gonna need 2 shots at the very least. More often than not, you're gonna need 3 shots. And my only concern about the gun, my only problem with it, is that it shoots fairly slowly. Like, the rate of fire between each shots is slow. So if you miss that first shot, it's kind of like the Kar 98, where you're kind of dead, because the other guy's gonna get another shot at you before you get a shot at him. But apart from that, it's very effective. At close range, it seems to have a nice little spread that can get you kills no matter what. However, I have shot people in the legs or something, and that shot didn't kill them, so hopefully that changes, because right now it seems like some of the limb hit registration for the trench gun isn't particularly forgiving, and you might, hit someone square on in the leg, which should blow them up, but you're just not gonna even kill them, which is kind of annoying. What I am really happy about is that the overall kit that the trench gun comes with is really good. It's a lot of fun to use, because you get a satchel, which you did before with the, I believe was the grease gun for the engineer, but now you also get smoke grenades and AP mines. So you get 2 AP mines, I believe 2 smoke grenades, and a satchel, and the trench gun. So overall, it is an immensely fun kit to use, because you have a lot of versatility, even though you're limited to close range encounters. So I wouldn't use this in any open map. But if you're, in an urban area or something like that, this is a very powerful kit to use. The FG42 is like a crazier over-the-top STG. It has a gigantic amount of recoil, which makes it very difficult to control once you start firing. So it makes hitting targets at medium range and long range extremely difficult, unless you are single tapping. If you're single firing, which takes some practice to get used to, on how to do it correctly, you can kill people from a very, very long range with the FG42. There seems to be almost no bullet drop, which, you know, that's significant. However, once you fire 2 bullets or fire in a burst, it doesn't seem like the first bullet hits where you're aiming, because the gun seems to kick up from the second shot before the first shot is actually shot or something. I don't know. But it doesn't feel very accurate when bursting or fully auto. Fully auto, I'm going to say like close quarters only, and everything else is going to have to be single tap. Kind of like the BAR is used, or how people mostly use the BAR, I think. So yeah, just not a hugely powerful weapon. It sounds incredible, but I wouldn't pick it over the STG basically any day. And the kit itself also doesn't offer anything really additionally to the standard assault rifleman loadout. So yeah, just maybe for long range encounters, if I get really good with semi-auto, then maybe I prefer the FG42 over the STG, and just because of how cool it sounds and it looks. But apart from that, it's not going to be this hugely overpowered weapon. It's definitely not overpowered. I haven't tried the scope version, which should be incredible because I'd never play sniper, so yeah. Alright, half-tracks. Half-tracks have been added to the game, and they are essentially trucks that once you stop them, they turn into garrisons. They have the same rules as garrisons for their deployment in terms that you can't use them past the second 2 rows. The first 2 rows of the enemy territory. If the enemy caps, for example, and you have them on the red zone on enemy territory, they become disabled. That garrison becomes disabled, and you need to move the half-track back to a viable position, a viable terrain for you to set a garrison. So basically, it is exactly the same as using a supply truck, dropping 150 supplies, and building a garrison. The difference, the main difference, is that these are not subject to the 100-meter red zone garrison getting locked rule, and will only get locked if an enemy is within 10 meters. However, they also have a 60-second respawn timer compared to the 40 seconds you get from a regular garrison. And this is absolutely brilliant balance, in my opinion, because these half-tracks allow you to get quote-unquote red zone garrisons in areas where they would get immediately locked. So you can park one of these if you're able to secure the area. You can park it right next to the enemy, essentially like behind a wall or something, and you can get entire spawn waves in, but you can't get them fast enough for it to be completely broken, right? 60 seconds is a long amount of time when it takes 2 minutes to cap a sector. So having that increase from 40 seconds to 60 seconds for half-tracks is absolutely brilliant. It's a great way to balance their utility and making them different for, like, they serve a different purpose, right, than red zone garrisons. One cool thing you can do with a half-track is to just leave it parked somewhere, you know, hidden at not maybe the best, most useful place for a garrison, but once you lose terrain or once you can move in to attack, you can just spawn at that half-track and move it up and have it ready. You know, you don't have to drive it all the way back from HQ. You can have it ready somewhere strategically for you to be able to quickly get in and do an assault, you know, get a better position on a garrison that you want to be able to attack from the side or whatever, attack behind the enemy, and so on. I haven't seen a huge amount of them being used. They are also quite expensive. They take, I think, 400 fuel. And Commander, speaking of which, let's move on and talk about the Commander and other changes to the game. Commander is no longer restricted like it was before Update 11 solely by the cooldowns on the abilities, because you had so many resources before that you could just basically spam everything and just had to wait for the cooldowns. That is no longer the case. You are now further more restricted by supplies. You have no final stand, which allowed you to use anything without the resource penalty, the resources being deducted. That is gone. They will rework that ability. Encouraged also generates less resources than it did before. So overall, less resources for the commander, but I think that's a good thing because I'm seeing way less heavy tanks, which used to be really spammed before this. Way less heavy tanks. And I do need to talk about the AT gun balance because AT guns are now very, very powerful. They can two-shot any tank, which I think is a mistake. Like, it should be 3 to 4 shots for a heavy, especially from the front. So I'd like to see that changed. But AT guns are now actually really powerful, and you should deploy AT guns if you see a good spot for them. This is something that probably won't get too spammy in public games because people fail to coordinate to even build one. But yeah, they are extremely powerful, super effective, which is how they should be. AT guns were the primary cause for tank destruction in World War II. Most tanks were destroyed by AT guns. So, you know, it's cool to have them be this powerful thing that you can actually do as infantry. But in terms of balance, I think we're going to have to see in the coming weeks how the thing behaves, how people play the game. Because a lot of people, I think, are going to complain in this first few days of the update about, you know, maybe the guns being too powerful, for example. But you have to keep in mind that during the first days or even weeks after an update, matches are kind of weird. There's a lot of people playing that are coming back to the game after a long time, and matches are just not your regular hella loose matches during the few days and weeks after a big update. And so yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. But right now, like, I feel very positive about this update. I think everything that's been introduced is incredibly good. I can't say much about the Panzer IV because I haven't tried it. I played like 8 hours yesterday and never got into a Panzer IV, which, you know, I'm probably gonna try it today. I've seen people say it's basically a worse regular Sherman, so, you know, that would be kind of unfortunate, but so far it seems like the tank balance is good, or maybe even better than it was, because there's less heavies, which were really powerful. Now they're not as powerful given the AT gun can destroy them. But overall, I am really, really glad with this update. There's never been a better time to be playing Hella Loose than now. Definitely, 100%. I think the game right now is at an excellent state. It's very fun. The audio is incredible. We have new options to be able to speed up the game. For people that failed to build garrisons, they now have an option to use the half track, so they can have their garrison without, you know, needing to engage with the supply system and everything. There is some griefing that I think can be experienced with the half track. Some people might, you know, just randomly pick up the half track and move it elsewhere and not turn it into a garrison by turning off the engine and just leave it there. That's happened, and I wonder, you know, what we're going to be able to do against that as a community. You know, whether they're going to need to nerf the half track and just make it drivable by squad leaders or something. I don't know. But overall, just an incredible, amazing update. Really great work done by the dev team on this one. A lot of marginal changes that just make the entire experience much better. One thing that I forgot to mention is that we now have offensive mode for a wide variety of different maps. And offensive mode has different weather, and every single map in offensive mode just looks incredible with the new weather effects, or rather new skyboxes. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think about the update down in the comments section, and as always, thank you for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.